Live. Oh, I think we're live. Clap for the translators. Hello. My name's Allyson Roesler. We're here in Conversations in Consciousness, and we're talking about it doesn't have to be so serious. I'm joined with Ashlee Rose. Hello, Ashlee.
Hi, how are you guys going?
And I wanted to choose this particular topic because I think when we start talking about consciousness in particular, it's really easy to get like bogged down and really heavy into it. And that just sort of like brings up a whole lot of judgment and having to get it right. And thinking back to when I first started with the Access Consciousness tools, was very much sort of like, am I saying the clearing right and all this sort of stuff, and taking it a little bit too seriously when really it just comes down to asking questions and making choices, and it really doesn't have to get any more serious than that.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. I remember before I was introduced to Access Consciousness, I did a lot of different personal development courses because I decided I was so messed up and I was so wrong, and it was so serious how messed up and wrong I was. And I made it so significant. And I remember I just did so many different personal development courses, and I took it all so seriously. I assumed that if I was going to change my life, that it had to be serious and there could be no laughter. And then I was introduced to the tools of Access Consciousness. And I remember my first class, like all we did is laugh. And I remember thinking like, oh, this is not as serious as it has been. Like maybe nothing's going to change. And the Access Bars class is one of the first classes that you do under this umbrella of Access Consciousness. And I know Gary Douglas, the founder, on that video we watched in the Access Bars class, at the end of it, he said, and feel free to laugh more because your laughter will change more than anything else. And from that day on, I went, you know what? I'm going to give myself permission to just laugh and just laugh at everything that's going on around me.
Yeah. And he also says how laughter heals the planet. So there are a lot of benefits to laughing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Crying can help release and change stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that, but laughter can too. And I remember when I was younger, like, I'd just have these fits of laughter, and I remember getting on a bus once and I have no idea what triggered me off, but I was just laughing hysterically and tears are pouring down my face, and people are thinking I'm crying. But you feel really good when you laugh.
Yeah. Totally. And there's that other thing, like, I'm not sure about you, but did you ever know what you desired to be when you grew up?
Sort of, no. But I remember in, like, I think it was around grade 11, I sort of suddenly discovered psychology. So I've always been a bit of a seeker. So I really jumped at the chance to learn about human behavior. But I took that through to university, and but never really went anywhere with it because I think I was looking for answers, and really nothing gives you answers because there are no answers. It's just all about the process of living, and if you believe that the purpose of life is to have fun, then where's the answer in that? You just sort of follow the energy, follow what is joyful for you, and but
it's so true.
And yourself, did you know what you wanted to do?
Well, that's the conversation I was going to lead into, because I know, this reality very much told me that I had to know what I wanted to do when I grew up. And I know it, the last few years of high school, like we had so many, like there was so many, we had a lot of nights where it was like there was lots of people that come to talk to us about all different things that they did and different areas that we could go into and different classes and, degrees that we could do at university. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, like I can't choose one. Like I'm not sure what I want to be. And again, that was something that was made so serious and so significant really when I was younger, that was almost one of the things that kind of got me like stuck, quote unquote, before I come across the tools of access consciousness, because I was just like seeking for this, my purpose of life. And I know, like every other personal development course I did, it was like, you know, if you don't have a purpose to your life, you know, basically what's the point of living? And, you know, if you don't know, there's something wrong with you, because everyone knows what they would like to do when they grow up. And I remember when I first come to Access Consciousness as well, it may have been in the foundation class that I took. The facilitator was like, well, what if the purpose of life is to have fun? And I just remember it felt like a weight was being lifted off my shoulder, because I was like, oh, you mean I don't have to, you know, go and, you know, meditate for hours to find the purpose of my life, like that I could actually just start having fun. And that changed so much for me. So if any of you guys out there are listening, are really struggling with, you know, having to find a purpose to your life, it's like, what if it could just be fun? And what if you could just start having fun today? And what if that was the only purpose of life, really? So that was a massive eye-opener for me. And I know that it changed a lot for me. So I know when you contacted me and you said, why don't we make our topic that, you know, it doesn't have to be serious? I was like, oh, I love that. It's so true.
Yeah. Because, like with access consciousness, there's lots of tools that you can choose, whichever one sort of lights you up, whichever one you sort of feel more inclined towards. But there is no right or wrong in it. There's just sort of asking a question. It can be any question, like how does this get any better, or any simple question. And so it's not about like in other modalities where you have to, you know, this occurs, therefore you have to use that. It's just basically following the energy, and you can't get it wrong. And so, yeah, it's not significant, it's not serious. It's just about living and the adventure of living, and what you want to choose next. And if you don't like it, yeah, what I've really come to learn is that it's the little choices that you do throughout your day that creates your life, that creates your future. So if you remain aware of what your choices are creating, then you can just make a different choice if you don't like what it's creating. Or if you do, then you just keep choosing more of that. So, yeah, so that's what consciousness is for me, is just that awareness of what you are choosing and where you actually want to end up. Because I typically follow the energy of things, but I never really asked questions about, well, what do I really desire? What do I want to create? Where do I want to sort of end up? And so I was following the energy, but whose energy? It was like I had no idea where I was going. But I mean, that's part of life too. As I said, you can't get it wrong. There is no right or wrong. So, yeah.
Yeah, totally. And what if it was just about, like, literally, even if you have no clue where you're going, what you're doing, what you desire to create in the world, it's like, what if you could just start, like, every choice you made from now on was, will this be fun?
Yeah.
And will I have fun choosing this? So for me, I know when I have, like, come to a choice point and, you know, there's lots of different things I can choose, it's like one of the first things I ask is, will this actually create greater for myself, for the planet, and for consciousness? And also, will it be fun? And will I learn something a lot of the time? So those questions are really cool as well, because again, it takes the significance out of the place that we're trying to get it right and the place we're trying to judge that choice as right or wrong. So if you actually just delete that from your head and you just go, okay, will this be fun? It's like, it changes a lot as well. And I know Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, talks a lot about that money actually follows joy. Joy does not follow money. So the more significant and serious we make our life, the less money we actually make. So the more fun you're having, the cool thing is it's like money will just follow that, because it's like money doesn't want to come to a serious, heavy party where, you know, everyone's really boring and everyone's judging themselves and there's really shitty music and there's really crappy food. Like, if you're actually having this really fun party and you're having so much fun and you're really joyful, it's like money desires to come to that party a lot more than the party that's, you know, a lot more boring. So I know for me at times creating my business, because we're both access conscious and certified facilitators, there's been time where I've gone into the significance of business and, you know, tried to get business right and tried to create it like this reality does. And, you know, I've started going into doubt, and then I've gone, okay, what would create the greatest right now? So I've just dropped everything and gone, okay, cool. What if I could just go have fun today? What if I could forget about everything else and stop making all of this significant and mean something? And the times I've dropped everything and just gone to have fun, whether that's gone to the beach, gone for a walk in nature, caught up with a friend, I will always have people registering for classes, or like I will always create money when I'm actually having fun and I've taken the significance out of what it is I'm creating. So that's just kind of a cool tip and trick too, that it doesn't have to be so serious. And yes, everywhere you guys have bought that it has to be serious for you to make money, maybe we can just join and create all of that too.
Yeah. Yeah. Because one of the questions that have popped up lately is, you know, what's so funny about this that I'm not laughing about? So
Yeah, totally.
if you're going through something or feeling really heavy around something, then it's a great reminder to, you know, well, everything has different points of view about it. So you can choose the lighter point of view.
Yeah, absolutely. You can choose to laugh at anything. And
Yeah.
I love that question. Like, what's funny about this that I'm not getting? It creates such a different sense of like freedom in everything that actually shows up in your life as well. So I know I just had a client this afternoon and she's going in for surgery tomorrow. So when she got on the table, she was talking to me about, you know, the surgery, and she was going into, you know, the doubt and am I even going to survive through the surgery and what's going to happen? And we were talking, you know, we started talking and I said, well, what if you could ask, like, you know, how much fun can I have? And she went, what do you mean? And I was like, well, what if you could just make it fun instead of going into the significance of having surgery? What if you could just ask the universe, like, what would it take for this to be fun? And what would it take for me to have more fun than I ever imagined possible? And she actually couldn't stop laughing when I asked her that question. And I was like, see, it's like things are starting to change already. Like it kind of lit up her world. And it's like she'd never even considered that it was a possibility to have fun going through a surgery, which isn't really normal. I don't think most people have fun, but it's like, what if you were willing to actually receive a different possibility? So that was a really cool space to get her into as well, and something I'd never even considered before in regards to surgery.
Yeah.
But it's like you could literally just ask this question in regards to anything that's actually going on in your life as well. So that was a really cool space. And I even said to her, like, what if you could just, you know, get on the operating table and before the anaesthetist, you know, starts putting you to sleep, what if your final words was, how much fun can we all have? Like, I was like, I think the whole theatre staff would just be like,
yeah, you definitely changed their reality. Yeah.
Definitely. So yeah, fun's so underrated, that's for sure.
Yes. And you can get away with a lot more too when you're sort of really joyful, because well, like in circumstances like that where in this reality it's supposed to be serious and significant, if you're having fun, then people think you're crazy. and if they think you're crazy, then you can get away with doing whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
They'll leave you alone. They won't project their points of view at you, because they'll just go, oh, you're crazy. Yeah.
It's true. Well, it's that thing with judgment. It's like there's a lot of people that will judge you, and some people judge you to try and control you as well. And it's like, if someone's trying to judge you or trying to control you and you don't make it serious and instead you laugh about it, it's like there's actually no place for someone to be able to control you. And they're going to very quickly get very bored because they haven't, them controlling you actually hasn't worked and it hasn't created the desired outcome. So it's like, if you can laugh about anything, it's like you can get yourself out of any situation, it seems. Yeah. And even that whole thing of receiving judgment, I mean, judgment is such a massive thing in this reality. I mean, how much do we judge ourselves, let alone other people judge us for what we're choosing and what we're not choosing? And judgment is something else we make so significant and so serious. And, to us in that moment, it may seem like it's so true and the world is falling down around us. And how are we ever going to, pick ourselves back up again? But if instead you could actually just laugh about even the judgment that you have of yourself, and that might not happen straight away, because a lot of the time, I mean, if you're anything like me, if I notice myself judging myself, sometimes I'll then judge myself for judging myself for judging myself. And then you can go in this like whole vicious circle. Yeah. So there are times that I catch myself and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to say what's funny about this that I'm not getting. It's like, where can I laugh about this? Because if you notice when you actually laugh about something that's going on, it changes the situation almost immediately. Like it just shifts everything. And that's what's so cool about laughter.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, even if you can't get there, like if you're really angry, for example, and even angry at yourself for judging yourself, that's okay, because consciousness includes everything and judges nothing. And that includes judgment. So, if you're choosing to judge, okay, you've got another 10 seconds to choose something else, and you can turn it around, if you remember, to laughter, whenever that time is for you. It's okay if you don't. And like talking about judging ourselves, when it comes to consciousness and awareness, like one place where I often have to remind myself is things like, just practicing asking questions, like in a checkout shop, like a line for the checkout, and just asking which line's going to move faster. And then if I get it wrong, I start judging myself, thinking, I'm no good, I can't do this, blah, 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 blah. So just reminding myself. And that's a great time to ask, I don't know about this, I'm not, laughing at, because, I mean, that's ridiculous. But
I was like, you saying it to me now, I'm like, that's actually hilarious. Like, that makes me laugh.
Yeah. Or like when you're driving and you come up to a traffic light and it's like, which lane's going to get through quicker? Yeah, anyway.
I've never asked those questions. I'm going to start asking those questions. That's for sure. So, yeah. And, that whole judgment thing, I mean, so many of us use judgment to totally destroy us. Like, I know with being a certified facilitator and facilitating different classes that are under, the umbrella of Access Consciousness, there can be times that, I've seen, including myself, so many of us take it so seriously, and, we're like, we make it so significant, like how many people show up in our classes or how many don't choose our classes. And it's like, what if none of that even mattered? Like, what if none of that was actually significant? And what if you didn't actually have to look outside of you for validation anymore? And like, again, every time you went into that, it's like, I've just been practicing laughing at myself more and more and just totally diffusing, the energy and the significance around it. So what if you guys could just start practicing? And if you can't find something funny about it, put in a comedy, like, or fake laugh. I know there's like laughing meditation and people, laugh, they fake laugh, and then all of a sudden it turns into a real laugh and it just continues. So I'm not sure, maybe find a good comedy or call a friend, like just for the hell of it, because that'll change things quicker than anything.
Yeah, well, it's like listening to a baby laugh. You can't help but, like, because you just sort of fall into that energy of the laughter. Yeah. It's very hard to stay angry.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. It reminds me, I saw one of your, I don't know if you call it a meme or a graphic quote or something, and you referred to the term the superpower of ease, joy, and glory, and I just loved that. I thought that was amazing. Yeah.
Well, we all have, like, that is, like, what if that is our superpower? Like, ease, joy, and glory is actually what is innate to us. So as an infinite being, or a soul or a spirit, we function from energy, space, and consciousness, and ease and joy are actually our natural state. So most of the time we don't actually realize that ease and joy can actually be a superpower, and a lot of the time we actually refuse that because we go into the judgment and we go into the right and wrong. But it really comes down to, like, what you're actually committed to. It's like, are you committed to ease and joy, or are you committed to judging you and coming from a place of lack? So it really boils down to, first of all, what you're committed to, and do you actually realize that ease and joy are actually a superpower that you can access? And the thing is, what you acknowledge grows. So it's like, you've got to actually acknowledge that ease and joy are a superpower that you can use to your advantage for that to actually exponentialize and expand and grow as well. So yeah, that's one of my, like, I always come back to that. Like, I always, like, if I'm in a situation that's heavy, that is not fun, that I've got all these thoughts, feelings, and emotions going around in my body, and I'm like, well, I know that's actually not me. I know I'm not my thoughts or feelings or emotions. I just go to, okay, what's going to create the most ease here? Or, like, where can I have fun with this? And, like, it's kind of just like putting on that, like, the superpower, the Superman suit. And then it just reminds me that, like, truly ease and joy actually is a superpower that we all can function from. So I guess it just depends whether you want to choose that or not, because it's all just a choice.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, and when you're first starting out, it can be hard to remember that.
Yeah.
So I was just going to mention the mantra of Access Consciousness, which is, all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory, and how it's recommended, or it used to be recommended, to say it 10 times in the morning, 10 times at night. And lately they're saying to say it 100 times a day, which I have not yet managed to do. Speaking about judging ourselves. It's like,
I haven't done it either.
I heard it about a month ago, and you know, every now and again I remember, and I try to start saying, I think I've got to about 20 as a maximum. So, you know, I could get really significant and serious about that, and like, I can just laugh it off, and okay, next I'll try again another time.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And that, like, that really changes, like, stuff I notice when I use the mantra. But it's like, if you're going to use it, it's like, you've got to be really present with it, because a lot of the time, you know, some people that I've told about it, you know, they're just like, oh, all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory, and almost like annoyed that they have to say it. But it's like, it takes presence. And it's like, are you really asking and willing to receive ease and joy and glory in your life? Or do you not actually desire, or are refusing the ease and the joy and the glory that can actually be your life? So it also takes, I mean, vulnerability with you to actually ask whether that's even something you desire, because not everyone desires ease and joy, and it's okay if you don't. But I assume if you're listening to this, you probably desire to have ease and joy with and as your life. So yeah, that has definitely changed a lot for me as well. Just that mantra, like, any situation you're in. I know my client that I was just talking about, she had to have an MRI last week, and she gets claustrophobic. So she just literally said the mantra over and over and over again for about 20 minutes. And yeah, that it changed stuff. So yeah, how much fun can you have with the mantra? Exactly. Say it as many times as you desire. And if it's not 100, that's okay. Yeah, and also, exactly, what would it take to get to 100?
Yes. Well, that's a really good example of it doesn't have to be serious. Like, when I think of, okay, get serious, you've got to do this right, and it's really heavy and all of that sort of stuff. Whereas, who's to say the fact that I started with the intention of doing it 100 times and never actually got there? Perhaps I was following the energy of things that cropped up from saying that, and it was greater to follow that energy rather than to continue to get it right and do 100 times because that's what I've been told, or that's what I started out doing and I have to finish, I have to accomplish my goals, or whatever. So, what if none of that's true?
Yeah, it's so true. Yes. So thank you so much for being on here with me and having this conversation about it doesn't have to be serious. It has been fun. Thank God. If it wasn't fun, oh my God, we'd have to retitle it. So yeah, it's like, what if all of you guys listening, like, what if it didn't have to be serious for you? Like, and really, it's like, what if you didn't have to take yourself seriously? Because I think it's a lot easier for us to laugh at other people and things outside of ourselves. But when it actually comes to us, it's like, it's going to be serious and significant. Otherwise, nothing will change. So it's like, what if you didn't have to take yourself so seriously? Whether you're judging yourself, whether you're making yourself wrong, whether you are requiring validation, like anything that comes up for you, what if you could actually just laugh about it? Like, what if you could laugh if you created a class or you had a business and, no one chose your class or no one bought your products for a month? It's like, I know how weird that sounds, but it's like, what if you could also just laugh about it? Because if you laugh and have fun, you're going to create more money anyway. So
sounds good. And just to finish off, you can just ask the universe to show you, like, show me how to have fun with this. If something is a little bit serious for you at the moment, you can just, that's a great question you can ask. So, yeah.
And that's the other thing I know, or just an added thing. When I first come to Access Consciousness and everything was so serious and significant, I didn't even know what fun was for me. Like I literally didn't even know what that looked like. I didn't even know what was fun for me. So you can also do something called energy shopping, which we call it. So you can literally just start, like, if you have fun, if you hang out with friends for an afternoon and it was a really great afternoon and you had lots of fun, you can just ask the universe, hey universe, more of that please. And then if you see kids playing in the playground and they're laughing and they're having a lot of fun, you can just say, hey universe, I'll have that too please. So if you just start saying, and asking the universe that, requesting that you'll have it too please, it's like the universe will then start to send you situations and conversations and people in your life that actually are that energy of play and fun and joy and laughter as well. And I know for me, that's where I started, because I had no idea even almost how to have fun or what was fun for me before I come to Access Consciousnness. And the other thing about that as well, I also asked that about friends, because I didn't have a lot of friends that were really fun to be around, or there was a lot of trauma and drama and significance as well. And that wasn't fun for me. I knew that. So I also just started asking the universe to send me my playmates. And playmates, play as in fun and laughter and joy. So that's something I started doing, and it might be a contribution to you guys. But yeah, it's like energy shopping, more of that please universe, and just start asking for your playmates to show up.
Yeah. Awesome.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I can't see anyone. I can only see you. I'm like, do we stop? I don't even know how to stop this.
I don't know how to stop this.
Well, There's one question I forgot to ask Jaco.
Yeah. But at least it's not serious, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly. Oh, here's Jaco.
Okay.
Ask and you shall receive.
I shall stop you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, what else is possible now? Thank you.
Thanks, Ashlee. Bye.
Thanks, Allyson.